have. The person who has helped us through COVID-19, Ann Williams, who's put out so much incredible information. Please just join me in a little round of applause, because without Ann, we really couldn't have gotten started with COVID-19. You've just done such an incredible job helping us all prepare, all get ready. I can't blow you up enough. I can't say enough about you, Ann. You've just done such a great job. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. And it's really exciting to sort of see what has happened and how it has evolved, and that it has been helpful for people. And I think what I try to do always is look at the research, look at the CDC and the World Health Organizations, and kind of see what they're talking about for other healthcare professionals, and then apply that to the practice of massage and figure out, well, how would this work in a massage clinic? So I'm glad that some of it's working for you, and I'll be interested to hear kind of about your experiences. And that's why we're doing this, is you're a good sized clinic that has opened up in a major metropolitan area. You are practicing, applying kind of what we've talked about, and hopefully that's working for you. You feel safe, clients feel safe, to the degree that we can all feel safe in this kind of crazy world that we live in right now. So I'm excited to get down to it and shoot you some questions and hear kind of what you have to say.
We are ready
for that? Okay, so I'll give you the first question, and then Diane, you choose who's going to answer it. And this is, you know, I'm going to kind of start with some practice questions, and then as we go along and we get to know each other and we warm up, I'm going to ask you some more personal questions about how this feels to each of you individually, because all of us are making these huge adjustments. Especially as we try to factor in our own safety, the safety of our clients, and then the safety of our families. Because I think the biggest concern is we could be a pre-symptomatic or an asymptomatic carrier, and so could clients. So first question, what did you do to get your facility ready to reopen, and how is the facility different now from before we went into lockdown?
I'm going to start that one off and say that we all got together at my house, and we sat around a picnic table with all of your stuff. We did, and it was wonderful. And I'm gonna let Eugenia start and answer a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was immediately after we went over your textbooks and stuff. So first off, immediately, like the day after, we went in and removed all the unnecessary stuff, like the books and the stuff laying around, because we were really mindful of the droplets. We heard droplets a million times, so moved that stuff around, and we just changed some of the layout of the things that we do. First off was the air purifiers. Diane had them ready to go. The air scrubber, all that was super important. Normally we had sheets available in different places throughout the building. We took all of that, made sure it was all in one area. So, and then we started putting videos into play. That seemed to be where things got a little bit easier for everyone, letting us know what to expect, therapists know, because just little things like changing over the room when you would rip the sheets off, and you're saying, you know, no more rapidly shaking your sheets, and just adjusting little things like that that didn't seem like a big deal. But that was kind of where we started off.
Nice. And Alicia, would you add to the, you know, you did a great video for us that's on our website of the procedure from the time the client arrives until we're done with them. We kind of had to change everything with the procedure of the actual client arrival and departure.
Yeah, so that I think plays also into the facility preparedness. Clients used to walk in and be able to use a lounge space. In fact, we encouraged them. Yeah. Their first visit, they received a tour with that encouragement to use this space before your session. Use this space after your session. Use your restroom. You know, that they're still using the restroom, but the lounge has basically been kind of closed. You know, the things that were available in there for clients have been removed, and we aren't encouraging early arrival. We're encouraging pretty near on time. people who used to come maybe 15 minutes early, you know, we're not allowing them to come in. The door's actually locked for their, you know, you can leave without any impediment, but clients cannot let themselves into the building anymore. That's a big change. I think very positive.
Yeah.
So those kind of things we capitalized on with the video to show them, like, your therapist is going to open it with the thermometer right next to the hand sanitizer. You're going to go straight up. I will follow back here, way behind you. We're going to do the thing super fast. And, like, you know, we demonstrated how to remove the mask, that it's the last step, and then you sanitize, and highlighted those important procedural, you know, that it is this order specifically. You know, all of that was part of our reopening.
I loved that you created a video and you really walked your clients through the process, because I just think about what huge boundary adjustments our clients are making. It's already sort of, you're already making boundary adjustments. You're taking your clothes off. Sometimes you're letting a stranger touch you. You're only under a flimsy drape. Like, there are all those things to think about. And now there are all these new protocols. So if you were a very comfortable client who's used to the protocols, your whole world just got turned upside down. So the video that you guys made, I loved it because it's fun, it's friendly, and it says, we're gonna do this together. We're in this together, we're making these adjustments together, and this is how it's gonna look. And you don't have to wonder, what is this gonna be like? It's clear. So that was very cool, very good thinking.
It was a lot of fun.
Are we ready for the next question? I've heard from a lot of therapists that they're having difficulties finding cleaning supplies and especially masks. How challenging was it for you to get the supplies, the PPE, everything that you needed to get up and running and feel relatively safe?
Well, as the group was saying earlier, I was like so ready with, you know, before it was even a thought of opening, you know, I was buying the air purifiers, I had the air scrubber installed, and I started stocking up knowing that the time was a-coming and that we would need supplies and that they were hard to come by. So on that matter, I supply a lot of the supplies for the office, and I've just been, if I go out and I see something, I grab it one at a time, you know, and I'm just kind of doing my best to make sure that we have what we need. As far as masks and everything, we've been pretty, I mean, I really haven't had a hard time getting masks for clients. Alicia, you want to say a little something about that too?
You know, I'll say we're very fortunate. The area we live in, our state mandates a mask when you leave your home, and people, I mean, throughout a lot of the time have been very compliant compared to what I hear elsewhere or see elsewhere. I personally, since we reopened a month ago, have not had to give a client a mask. Every client has come with a proper mask.
Nice.
Hundreds available, and I mean, I'm not sure anyone's had to give a client a mask yet. So we're seeing really, really positive usage, and that hasn't been an issue for us, I would say.
That's great. I'm glad to hear it.
Awesome. The clients have been more than willing to do whatever they need to do to come in and get that massage.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, I think that leads into my next question. How did you let your clients know that you were ready to book massage sessions, and how did clients respond to the news? And were some hesitant? Were they just incredibly excited? And what was kind of the percentage of people who were like, not so ready, or give me my massage?
I can tell you, I will tell you only because, you know, I'm a contact for clients. And when we were in the midst of the pandemic and we were in lockdown, I kept getting emails from people like, hey, I've been home. You've been home. Are you sure you won't give us a massage? You know, so that was actually really nice. And I think Molly had an experience that I was there for, with clients being really excited to kind of get back. You know, everyone's been really, really just so gracious and excited and willing, like I said, willing to really work with us. And Molly, you had a client come in who is kind of leaving, singing the praises for being open. So I'll let you talk about this one a little.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a few regulars of mine. One in particular was just over the moon. I mean, I have some regulars booked out for the year, and during the close down, it was a lot of adjustments, having to move appointment times. And I have to say, very rarely do we come across clients that are upset about coming in, having to go through the new procedures and stuff. I mean, I gotta say, everyone's been so compliant. They know what they need to do, and they are beyond excited to even be touched. Like, just, and it's like some clients are just like, I know I can't hug you, but just know that my energy just is like, it's just surprising how much we make an impact day to day, what this does for people, and it just really humbles you. So yeah, I think it's just been wonderful.
Can I ask you a follow-on question to that, Molly? Like, is your clientele at Freedom Massage fairly healthy, or have you had situations where you've got some high-risk clients where you're sort of saying, we think you should probably hold off right now? Have you had to kind of deal with any of that?
Here and there. I mean, obviously we do have some clients. I myself do oncology massage, so I've taken it on myself that I am not seeing any new oncology clients just because of the in-depth intake, the amount of time I would need to spend with that client to know their treatment. Whereas the regular oncology clients I've seen, I know their history, I know where they're at with their treatment. So we have been asking some of the clients who might have just more so immune issues, anything along those lines, that were like, you know, you're fantastic clients, we're so thankful, but at this time it's more so for your safety as well as ours. So I mean, and again, everyone's been very understanding, which I think has taken a big weight off everyone in that terms.
Yeah. I see Alicia wants to jump, has something to add to that.
I would observe that many of the clients who I was personally a little concerned about is like a higher risk have just regulated themselves, you know, haven't scheduled and have just, you know, even told us we're just going to wait a little longer, or it's, I want to, and this is why not. And it's been a conversation. It hasn't been like a problem.
Nice. Hasn't been contentious.
Yes, there we go. Good word.
Love that word.
I hope that everyone out there is having that experience, because some of the things I've heard, people are really struggling with clients not being compliant, and they're having to set those very firm boundaries of no mask, no session, or I don't feel safe working with you right now because I feel like you are at high risk. So I'm glad you guys have had such a great experience with that, and that's probably because you have a long history with many of your clients, so they trust you to make good decisions or help them make good decisions. All right, next question. Tell us a little bit about how you're handling client bookings, and if you are taking any new clients, how is that process different from before lockdown?
Eugenia?
I was just going to address the new client part. At first, we had decided that we weren't going to take new clients because we weren't sure what we were going back to. But a few days in, there was just like an overwhelming amount of people that were new. I guess because a lot of spas aren't open yet, a lot of places, that these people were like trying to get in. And Diane kind of made the decision, like, we really don't want to be turning people away. So yeah. I myself, I know a lot of us, we've seen a lot of new clients. Up to the one day we had 10 new clients in one day.
Wow.
Just because people feel safe. They all said they watched the video, they read our reviews of people, just knowing that we were on top of it, and they really felt safe and they really thanked us. So it's been a good thing with new clients.
Excellent.
Michelle?
Yes, so with rebooking our regular clients before COVID, you know, we would really encourage clients to book before they leave, to book out for several months, even the whole year, so they have their time and spot that they want. Now we are just really focusing on getting them in and getting them out as quickly as possible. We're not having anybody linger. So we really encourage them to go onto our app and do the online booking that way. And you just have to really encourage the client, like, I really enjoyed working with you. Your body relaxed so well. It took the massage wonderfully. Like, I think at this point, it's all about encouraging them to book and just cross your fingers and hope that they follow through with booking online, because, we don't want people to be lingering.
Yeah.
So,
that is such a big shift. And I think you're so right. Like, in a really functional massage clinic, you're on it. You are, let's rebook this. In fact, let's get you on a session plan so that we know kind of some goals that we're going to try to hit, and let's schedule you out. And now it's like, I'm sending you away, hopefully with such a magical feeling in your body that you won't forget to get online and do this tomorrow and book with us again. Yeah, it's a big shift. And well done, though. I mean, I think it's a shift we have to make right now.
I'll pop in here. As far as booking clients, a lot of people that call in, we've actually printed out for everyone and actually had them laminated, almost like a script in a way. That way we can kind of verbally go over a form of screening on top of them doing a consent form through email, through the website. But I mean, at least we're getting to talk to the clients, hearing how genuine we are and saying, like, this is for you, this is for us. I mean, just safety across the board, and just going through a couple screening questions. Again, I mean, sometimes you do come across clients that are like, they don't have time for it, and you're like, that's totally fine, because we have other ways of doing this, and that's fine too. So it's all about problem solving and kind of meeting the client where they are.
Yeah. Very cool. All right, next question. And I think you might have covered this, so we might just touch on this briefly and then move on. But I was interested in understanding, like, it seems like you guys probably have multiple session rooms going at one time. How are you managing having multiple people coming and going at your facility and keeping the social and physical distancing piece? And then how have clients responded to that shift?
Sammy, would you like, we haven't heard from Sammy.
Yeah, so we certainly have times where clients are coming in together, but we're very aware, again, with our pre-screening, and they're having to call or text us when they get here that, hey, I'm outside in my car. Since we do ask them to arrive just within a couple minutes of their appointment and not, 15, 20, half an hour, it's pretty easy to be able to work with your fellow therapist and say, hey, I'm going to tell my client he's ready. Great, I'm going to wait, behind you, and just kind of control that flow, especially as we had mentioned before, the door is locked, so they can't just walk in and be hanging out like, what's going on here. We've had a couple people knock. We have a sign on the door now that says, please call or text. So we're just hitting it in all different ways that we possibly can to let you know, we're here for you, but we have to do things the way that we have to do them. And everybody, as everyone keeps saying, is so compliant, oh, I see someone walking up to the door, so they wait back 6 feet, even if they haven't gotten it down yet, they wait, or we wait, or everyone is very courteous to each other, willing to help out wherever they can, however they wait for all instructions. Most people just kind of wait until you give them the next step. Okay, let's head upstairs. Okay, I got your temp. Everything is just slower down. You take a deep breath, and we figure it out as we go. So haven't had any issues there at all.
Very cool. That's awesome. Okay, let's talk about how you're managing the sections of the massage when the client is prone and it's not comfortable for the client to be in a face mask. How is that process working for you? What are you doing? How are you directing clients through that process?
Who wants that one? Who wants it? Who wants it? I want to hear from the group. So back to Alicia.
I personally took it, we had a couple weeks of doing trades so we could work out, how it is to try the procedures. experience like working several sessions with a mask on, because it's different than just wearing it an hour to do one trip a day, you know. So as we worked all that out, I tried every way of having a mask prone, and my personal experience was that it didn't work. I wanted to know what clients were going to go through with the suggestions. All of our air purifiers, the HEPA filters, are within 2 feet of the face cradle in the rooms. So they are nearest. And we also have fans directing opposite stagnant corner flow toward the air purifier. And clients are told, if you feel comfortable, you can remove your mask for face down work. We will prompt you to put it on before you turn over. And then we're down at the foot of the table when they pick their face up and put their mask on. So we make it known we're gonna go to your feet, handle your foot adjustment, the cushion removal. So we're 6 feet from their head when it comes up and out. They put it on, they scoot back down, they can get that pump of hand sanding again, and we're rolling.
And I think that's another one of the great things about working with a community of therapists. You know, I had the group going in a week or two before and doing trades, so that way they could get used to everything instead of just being tossed into it with with the clients. So I think when we experience things ourselves, it's easier to have compassion and empathy for those that are in it with us,
and to sort of problem solve it in the moment, in that place where you can say, okay, we need to just pause this session, our practice session right now. I need to regroup. Can I run through the verbiage I'm going to use with the client one more time so that I feel more comfortable? I love that you guys got in and practiced, because I feel like that's the biggest issue for therapists, is you're taking sometimes these session habits that you've had for 25 years and you're saying, okay, my session habits don't work anymore, and now I have to learn all these new habits, and I just have to remember to do all these new things in this kind of progression that I'm used to it going a certain way. So fantastic thinking, and I'm going to update the textbook to include that when we get off this video chat. I see Sammy. Yeah.
Trades also really helped us to empathize with clients. I mean, that's something that as a therapist through all my years, I've just learned more and more to how to share empathy. And, I've laid down and I've had a mask on my face. And, as Alicia said, we've tried different ways. This is what's best and why. And it allows them to understand, wow, it wasn't just a slap decision somebody made quick and said, do it this way. Everything we've done has been so thought out. We've used all the resources you included, and really took the time, but we can empathize with them because I know how that feels. I know what it feels like to be in that situation and to experience massage the way that you are.
Yeah, very cool. I love it. All right, I'm going to move on to the next question. How long are transitions between clients taking with the additional cleaning, the additional sanitation, and the additional changing your clothes between clients? That's a big shift.
So this is one of the for me, like the dream come trues of this whole thing, is that I feel like therapists have not given themselves enough time in between appointments. And at Freedom Massage, we've always had 30-minute breaks built in. So we've always had these nice breaks in between clients. So it's given them plenty of time now to kind of clean, probably almost realizing the 30 minutes goes by pretty fast, in this situation, because now I see the therapist hustling more than I've ever seen them hustle before, trying to fold this, do that, take the sheets down, and then go back up and put them on, because we really are sticking to everything, and it's been really cool to watch everyone do that. But it is now, even with 30 minutes, 30 minutes seems like 5, I think, and but we've always had that built in, so it's been a really good thing for us. How does it? Let's get a little talk from Ashley. How do you feel with the time in between? Ashley's our newest therapist.
I feel very comfortable. I feel as though we do have enough time. I'm thankful that we had the 30 minutes. But yeah, I haven't really had to struggle at all. Everyone helps out too. If one of us grabs an extra sheet and the other person's coming down the stairs, like, here you go. Like, we're very mindful with what everyone else is doing, and we help everyone clean their rooms and every time we have time. So it's been good. Yeah.
That's great. Can I ask you, Ashley, are you wearing an N95 the entire time during the session yourself? And what's it like sort of persisting through an hour-long massage in those tight-fitting, breath suppressing masks?
I would say I've gotten used to it. It definitely gets easier. I think some of the cloth masks, I know everyone's different, but I think the medical masks are a little bit easier to breathe in from my experience. So, I mean, like I said, I'm just adjusting to it. You know, when you go to the bathroom, maybe take like a deep breath and then you're like, okay, get it together and keep, just keep going. But overall, like I said, it's just something you have to get used to and adjust to, and, it's staying positive, just keeping that positivity. Yeah.
Can I ask, Ashley, I know you've been only with Freedom Massage not as long as the rest of this group. Are you new to massage? Like, are you a new graduate or a recent graduate? Or have you just made a job change?
Yes, I've been practicing for about 6 years now, and I just made a change, during these crazy times. So yeah, I'm super excited. I love my team. Everyone's super amazing, and yeah, Diane as well is awesome. So yeah, I'm super excited.
Are any of your team newer to massage? Like, I keep thinking about what it must be like to be a new professional. This is your first year in practice. You're right out of massage school and COVID happens. And everything that you learned just kind of gets tossed into the air a little bit and comes down around your head like rain. Go ahead, Eugenia.
I'm newer. Freedom Massage is my first job, hands-on. I finished school in September. So for me, I think it's good because this is kind of all that I'll know. You know what I mean? I don't have anything to refer back on. So it's like really setting the bar high. The mask, I've noticed that I actually have started to prefer wearing the mask when working. Just certain things, like when you flip them supine and people are letting out that deep breath right in your face, like you don't have to deal with that anymore. It's like things that I thought of before where I'm like, I actually feel a lot safer. So it kind of like sets the bar high from here forward. So I like that everything is super cautious and super the way it is.
Nice. That's great. You found the bright spot for us. You just shine that bright spot. Now that you're in the mask, you don't have to breathe in any of their fumes, whether they're infectious or not. Okay, let's move on. So what's the most important tip you can give massage therapists who are thinking of reopening their practices but feeling really anxious?
Not to put my hand up.
We love you.
So, I think the best advice would be like slow down and give yourself the space to think critically. What's gonna work with one person is not you, it's that person. Individuals working in small groups or for themselves or for someone who doesn't get it or have the same risk, every single person should be thinking about it. It really is, you need to take the time to develop the procedures. They're purposeful. Doing them in a different order could negate everything you do. And so people have to be ready to do that. If they're not ready to give the time, if they can't give the time to think about it, I think that's already the answer, because this is a lot of being very present and thinking a lot.
Which is, and again, one of the little tiny gifts. We should always be really present and really mindful of everything we're doing. So it's really been helpful. Sammy?
Preparation. I mean, I felt nervous during shutdown, and how prepared we are as a team. Again, just using resources, brainstorming together, trial and error things, but all before we opened. I was coming back day one of being hands-on, like, all right, let's do this. Like I had no nerves anymore because we knew what we were doing. We were prepared, and we had gone through every which way to do it, to find the best way. Be prepared, you know, and I've been one of those people before in my practice where I've run in and been like, okay, we're ready. But having the time to prepare, having the time in between clients to set yourself up for success is so key. So it's going to be a schedule change for some people. It's going to be, you know, a difference in what they're used to, but doing it differently is what's going to save you, is what's going to allow you to practice, not be shut down again, not get people sick, not get yourself sick, is being prepared.
Eugenia, did you want to?
Just wanted to say real quick, the biggest thing they can do is Ann Williams. Read that textbook, that CD, everything from Ann Williams is pure gold.
Oh, thank you. So can I just prompt, I know some of you are being shy and quiet, but can I ask Gabby and Sue, kind of as you're, and Kimberly too, kind of as you're hearing some of the things we're talking about, what's coming into your mind as something important to share? And if you're willing right now for me to just give you a little poke, that would be great if you would share. So Kimberly, what do you think? Like what's kind of rising up in your mind as you hear the conversation?
I just want to share that I think I was one of the few that were scared going back into work. And I was very forward with that to Diane, to my coworkers. And we had like a little picnic before we went back into work just to kind of talk about things. And I'm a hugger, and I have not hugged people in a very long time. And I just said to myself, like, I saw everyone, I saw Diane, and I was like, forget this, I need a hug. I'm gonna hug my coworkers and put that fear aside and just trust that I work for someone who's always prioritizes safety. And that just like makes such a big difference. I don't think that many massage therapists in other states or local can say that their employer cares as much as Diane cares about us. And it's just like awesome to see our clients be just willing to follow these protocols. And it's just, we're all learning, and it's such a nice, peaceful time to learn from one another.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Kimberly. What about you, Sue? Like, what's coming up for you as you're hearing the conversation?
First of all, I want to go back to an earlier question about how did Freedom Massage let the clients know we were open. I think Diane, as a leader, she has done such a great job in constantly informing our clients through Facebook, through probably personal email and phone calls, to let them know that we are on board with state guidelines, the shift of the green phase, so that the clients, it was funny to see them book knowing that we're going to be open on a certain date and then cancel and rebook again because those dates have changed. It just shows us the willingness of our clients to come in. One of the other things too that I noticed is that Diane has managed to collectively, with all of us, constantly, whatever she puts in place, certain guidelines or even the video and all that, it is a collective effort. She gets input from all of us. So it becomes a very second nature thing to all of us to I wouldn't even say abide. It is almost like, no, we're doing this because we have to do this. We're all doing it. It's not certain people who say, oh, I have to put a mask because, you know, this is what is expected. No, because we all want to do it for the collective good. The other thing too is that I think the clients are just very thankful for us. They are thankful that we are setting the boundaries in terms of, you know, I feel like coming fairly recent from a school myself, you know, you learn about boundaries and ethics and all that. I think the new norm is that the boundaries of what we have put in place for freedom massage practice, well, this is our boundary. So
Yeah.
the silver lining, I think, sometimes is that we are not willing to compromise on the boundaries.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
how powerful that can be. It's like, I'm huge into learning theory. So one of the things that happens for learners is the more structure you give them, the
Mhm.
safer they feel to learn. And no one can learn when they feel unsafe. Like if you feel afraid, learning can't happen. So you give learners more and more structure. You set these really powerful boundaries,
Mhm.
and they don't take away your freedoms. They give
No.
you spontaneity and freedom. And so when I hear you say that, like, I completely agree. You get to rest as a therapist in the boundaries that have been created at your business, and your clients get to rest in that structure too. So Gabby, I haven't forgotten about you. So I'm going to ask you kind of what's coming up for you as we explore and discuss.
Well, it's been great because not only did the whole team and Diane have everything settled and ready for us to go when we got back, and have specific procedures for all of us and all the cleaning supplies we needed, but she also reorganized the space to give us each all a little bit more space ourselves. So we have more space in the office and more desk room so that we can also, you know, socially distance ourselves, which was really awesome. And we are just all as a team keeping everything ready and clean and healthy and prepared, and it's all very like structured, which is just, you know, it's really comforting.
Nice. Great. I love it. Okay, I'm going to go on to the next question. So this one is a little bit more personal, and it's when you reflect on your life as a massage therapist pre-COVID and now on your life as a massage therapist working through COVID, what comes up? What's challenging, but also what's beautiful?
I'm going to go on this one. All my greatest dreams have come true in some ways, meaning like people are on time. They're not coming in sick. They're, you know, it's easy to, like, if someone's not feeling good, they're just not gonna show up. We collect payment before, you know, and there's a quick goodbye and rescheduling online. Everything's streamlined. People aren't talking during their sessions. They're focused on their bodies. So a lot of the highlights of my career and a lot of things I've always, you know, been excited about and wanted to see happen in the community are literally being like that's what we have to do, like everyone was saying. And another thing that Michelle had said in another talk that I loved was, you know, we're able to say no now. You know, people aren't as afraid to say, no, I will not. No, I cannot. You know, I will not put myself in jeopardy. So that's been something too. I feel like everyone's really getting a voice, and it's really helped us grow as a group and really count on each other and respect each other and hear each other. And not just amongst ourselves, but the therapist-client relationship it's fresh and new. We have a new start, and we, like Eugenia said, as a new therapist, this is all she knows. Well, as a therapist that's been around for 25 years, I wish I had an air purifier in 1999.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of these things are things that are like, wow, kind of amazing and great. And Sammy, I'll let you talk next.
I was actually just going to ask Michelle if she would share just what you had mentioned. Her word was empowered. So I was struck by that word when you shared how you were empowered. Can you tell us that, Michelle?
Yeah, so having all the new guidelines and everything, with a lot of clients, you know, they do in a way become your buddy, or they, you know, a lot of times they'll come in and use their session as a therapy session and just vent. You know, you don't really engage in that, but this is an opportunity for us to be comfortable in saying, we're not going to talk. This is quiet time. Our new thing is wear your mask for discouraging conversation. We have the air purifier, we have the fan to keep the air circulation moving. And so I feel much more comfortable saying, we're not going to be talking as much. Let's really take this time to focus on your body. You need to practice relaxing. People don't realize that it takes practice to relax. It's not always easy to do that.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
I love it. That's great. What about for you, Molly? Like what has been a challenge, but also what has been most beautiful about this time?
I gotta say, I was so excited to get back to work. I am not an academic person, I guess to say, so it takes me a while to sit down and read and follow things. I'm more of a tell me what to do and I'll do it kind of person. So it was a little bit of a challenge for me to kind of really get into the structure of the new system we had, because Freedom Massage, we're a small business, so you kind of not do what you want, but there was a little bit more freedom to it. So it's like now you have to kind of recalibrate yourself a little bit. And like Alicia was saying, there are certain levels and stages of how you do things, and kind of accepting like, okay, I'm going to take the sheets off. Well, I need to take the sheets out of the room and then sanitize and then leave the room again and then bring up another set. So it's just that for me was kind of like trying to keep everything in place, because you want to keep the studio. You love where you work. You want to keep things running smoothly. So it's like, it was more so following everything, getting into a flow. But for people that maybe have a hard time with that, it comes in time. And I think the whole training and trading process beforehand helped that, because you're working with your staff member, you're massaging them, but not only that, you're working together on how to change over, to sanitize the room. And I think that was the biggest building block for me. And then also bright spot, like you were saying, that it's like, okay, now I feel better and know I can do this. So it makes the future even brighter.
I love it. Well, Sammy, why don't you share with us too, kind of a challenge, but also a bright spot or something beautiful that's kind of come from this for you?
Yeah. If you've met me for more than 5 seconds, Anne, you will know that I'm a social butterfly and I need people. So as everyone has said, it's so hard for them and it's difficult. It was like an extreme to shut my world down and be sitting at the window like, there's some people out there and like see them. And I've watched all those silly, videos with the person who is massaging with a rake 6 feet away. I'm like, could that really be a thing? Should I pitch that to boss? If we, I've really struggled there. I have just missed being with people, not even touching them, but just being near them. And it's been beautiful to be able to feel that, to be able to feel through all of those feelings. I am 110% on the go all the time. I'm 100 miles an hour flying through life. That's just how I've always been. This was a time to be peaceful, and we were actually calling it peaceful virus time. Diane said it, and I was like, all right, anytime I'm frustrated or freaked out by this, it's peaceful virus time. And so taking this and moving it forward, I have very slowed down. I have more embraced the moments that are going by. I've been able to slow down my movements in session. My flow is, a little bit different, and it's just rejuvenated how much I love this, how just it relit that spark that not was going out, but, might have been distracted by other things. It just really was able to refocus me, slow me down, and allow some peace in my life. So.
Yeah. And that was such a crazy thing about the lockdown, wasn't it? It's like literally the weekend before we locked down here in Colorado, I was at a big event watching a social justice lecture, and in a room full of 500 people, and it was really close and hot in there. And then 3 days later, our state was like, nope, we're in lockdown. And it was such an odd sort of, suddenly everything's quiet. There's no traffic on the road. There are there's nothing happening. It was so surreal. And I'm a lone wolf for sure. Like, I like my quiet time. It was not hard for me to go into quarantine. That worked really well. So, but my mom has experienced, like you, Sammy, she was like, let me out of my cage, especially a cage that includes your dad. So I can totally relate. Let me ask one more person to maybe share on this question, and then we'll move on. And Sue, would you share with us a little bit about what you found most challenging, but what you've also found beautiful?
Sure. I think it's challenging, like my fellow friends therapists have said, is that it's to kind of zone in and be at the moment or in the moment, and knowing your clients' needs instead of sort of their wants. Their wants is probably be a little chatty and catching up. Oh, how are your kids doing? Things like that. That because it's a familiarity. They're coming in, and it's like seeing a friend and getting a massage at the same time. And I think it's put a pause in actually allowing the clients to actually kind of focus on themselves, and not just, it feels like a deflection sometimes when they are more chatty and whatnot. But it's a time for them to actually kind of, it's like me forcing kind of, or allowing them to say, it's your time too. Yeah. And one of the beautiful things that Freedom Massage has done is that we have the waiver consent forms that they have to complete before every session. And one of the things that they are able to put in is, because we are minimizing conversation, is that what would you like your session today or your next session to focus on? So right off the bat, I remember Alicia was saying that, she looked at the client's form, because we have to look at it before our appointment. And one guy said, oh, tomorrow I want this to be done. And Alicia and I looked at each other and said, that's amazing. It's amazing that we have a client sometimes who just tells us what they want, so that we are all ready to go. We are like, okay, I'm ready to see you. We don't even have to talk, and I know what to do. And I think that's the beauty of it, to give the client some, the word that Michelle used, to empower them, not just us, but to empower our clients to be their own advocate.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. Thank you. You guys are such an articulate, amazing group. Okay, next, this is a hard one, I think. So we'll see where we go with it. As you've looked at the national scene and experienced interactions of massage therapists who are discussing COVID online, how does it make you feel? Can massage therapists be proud in general of the way they've responded to this crisis? And is there room for improvement? What could we have done differently as a profession? If we ever face something like this again, what can we do better next time? But sort of really interested in what you've been seeing online as we kind of move all of those conversations that we typically have in person. We're almost looking more nationally now than we normally do. How do you feel about how massage therapy has responded to this crisis? Really curious to hear your thoughts. Alicia?
I've been really impressed by the leaders, by like all of the national level, our representative bodies coming together. Yeah. All gathering information and putting it out to their members. Like, the leaders have been great. I think that's what I want to see. I want to see the young people in the profession inspired by this, so that they are continuing to lead in that direction as well. That's been awesome. Comparing locally, our region even, to the national, I'm grateful to live where I live. I'm grateful to practice in the part of the country I'm in. I think there's a lot of things that make it a unique compliant bubble, if that's what you'd call it. And I'm grateful to be part of that bubble, because it's sad to me. Like, I have family around the country. I have a lot of my class from massage school do not live in PA anymore. Many of them are not local anymore. And it's not what our experience at Freedom Massage is not everyone's. I'm aware of that. So that's, you know, that's a little, it's a part of my morning intention for the world, you know, to get them on our vibes. But yeah, you know, that awareness is, you know, it is.
Eugenia?
I agree with everything Alicia just said. Like, I think a lot of people in this industry, it's been positive. A lot of times you see such negative things on social media, but it's kind of like it brought everyone together. But I think coming out of it, it realized that I really do think that we are essential. So many of our clients, we're seeing some of them weekly with chronic pain, and just seeing like what happened to them in 3 or 4 months without getting it. I mean, it's sad. People were in a lot of pain. So I think really like just fighting to show that we are essential. You know, like, you can go to a chiropractor, you can go to a physical therapist. Why can't you go to a massage therapist? So I think moving forward, something should be done on that aspect of it.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of positivity around just the industry coming together.
What about you, Sammy?
I agree. I just had a client the other day who said, I come weekly and I have missed 17 appointments. And that is unacceptable to me and my healthcare. And if I ever think, man, maybe I need to skip my massage, or maybe, you know, allocating money someplace else, like, I think it rang a bell for a lot of people that we are essential, you know, we are something that people need, and for the health, you know, for just such a healthy thing to be doing for our bodies, preventative care, massage is in there.
Yeah. Go ahead, Alicia.
Back that real quick. I have a handful of regulars who now, with Freedom, I've seen 5 years, weekly or bi-weekly. And, you know, these are people who have stated this is an intentional part of my life, reducing the progression of these spinal or joint, you know, dysfunctions. And, you know, I have people that have had surgeries now that they have not needed to have, or have been able to put off all this time, and now 3 or 4 months has really, you know, of course stress, of course, but obviously it plays such a role. So it's something.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point. Like, the state where I hold my original massage license is Washington State, which has always been incredibly proactive in support of massage therapy. And they made massage therapists essential workers during the pandemic. So you had to basically agree that what you were doing was essential work. You couldn't just be doing spa massages left and right, but they did keep that mandate. And I think that was an incredibly proactive move on their part. And I've always felt like Washington was it's very pro-massage, and it very much views massage therapy as a healthcare profession, where you just don't get that in every state. Some states kind of view massage therapy as a service provider, and we're definitely healthcare. And I love hearing that kind of emerge from that question. All right, next question. So for any of you, was there a question about returning to work? Like, maybe I will not come back and work at this time because I've got a family member who's ill, or who's compromised, or I've got young children. Like, for any of you, was that something where you had to really weigh what's going to happen here? A couple of you. So Michelle, let me start with you, and then we'll come to Sammy.
Yeah, so I have a 14-month-old at home, and I'm currently pregnant.
Oh, wow.
So coming back to work, you know, was a little scary. You know, I really had to stop and think, you know, what am I doing here? You know, and think about my family and my own health and safety. But yeah, I was ready to come back. Of course, I loved the time at home with my son, and it was hard to leave him, you know, and I cherished those 3-4 months that I had. But same thing with putting all of your procedures in place and essentially pretty much redoing our whole space at Freedom Massage and creating the videos and the education that we received and we put out to the clients, and to have Diane have our backs 110% if we are ready to come to work, if we want to wait a week or two to see how things go after we open, or if we want to put it off even longer. Like, all that was very comforting and helped me to make the right decision. So I'm back to work, my regular schedule. I feel very comfortable. I'm not worried that I'm pregnant and, you know, that I'm at a higher risk. You know, I still feel very safe.
Thank you. Wow, that's an incredible story. That's a testimony to amazing leadership, creating an environment where people feel safe and supported, but also, like, what I hear from all of you is you've had conversations. This hasn't just been Diane saying, here's how we're going to do it. It sounds like it's been an incredibly inclusive process that has asked to hear from each of your voices. And so you feel heard, valued, loved, understood in just the right way for you, each individually. And that empowers you then to be able to put, oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little choked up, Diane. Well done, you. You know, to put your hearts on the line and to make an effort for your clients. So that's so flippin' cool. I love it. So Sammy, I know you had something you wanted to share too. So I'm gonna get a tissue, make sure the camera's not on me, dry my eyes. Go ahead, Sammy.
Yeah, we did it. We had all those conversations, and that's just what I was gonna say too, is just making sure to be able to weigh, you know, pros and cons and the risk and all that. My wife works for a retirement community, and they went on lockdown shortly after. Thank God for a while, no COVID, you know, cases, but they're definitely 55 and older. And her job as the executive chef every day is to be in some sort of contact with, you know, those people. So as far as bringing it home, you know, if I was to get it at work, I would bring it home. She would be out, you know, and then we would both be out. And there was a lot of, again, nerves in the beginning and worry in the beginning, but because we were having no pressure, absolutely zero pressure from Diane, like, if you don't come, you know, when you're ready, let's talk about this, let's make it a discussion, let's, you know, and it wasn't always in front of a group. If you needed to say on the side, like, hey, message me individually, let's talk. She checked in with all of us. And again, just working for a massage therapist, someone who knows what you're doing on a daily basis, every moment of the day, what it's like. That empathy she could share with us, that we could share with others, you know, it's just full circle. I felt prepared. I trusted my coworkers to follow procedures, even when no one's looking. I trust that my boss knows what's best and that we're all talking about things together, and it's a decision. And my wife and I sat down and said, listen, you know, what are the risks? What are the, you know, this is the cleanest place I go outside of my house. So I am at minimal risk in my head. You know, I firmly believe that I could go anywhere else and be at higher risk than I am going to work. So.
Yeah. From my outside perspective, it seems like Freedom Massage has worked as a team to step up to the demands of COVID in placing the demands that COVID's currently placing on the massage profession. And I would love it if you talked a little bit more about your team and what it's been like to work together during this unprecedented time.
I would speak to it is a lot to remember. So part of the team preparation was addressing it from different angles. You know, definitely a boss thing. We've got it brainstormed and we talked it out, and then it is in writing, and then there's an abbreviated, you know, for things where it's not just the description and then what you say, it's just your script. We have in each room the whole cleaning procedures in order, so you don't have to remember the email you got 2 months ago. It's laminated in that room and in that room and in that room. And it's covered in so many ways. The videos are there. We have an online drive that we can then go and see it one more time. Oh yeah, I've got to take this off, move it out of the room. I come in and I clean, I leave the room. I come back and I put new things on. And you know, this is how I get the sheets out of the closet. I come from clean hands. I sanitize, I open, I get them, I close it. So it's been having it in writing, having it abbreviated, having a video, and then talking it out, like flexibility to evolve with it. Because some of these things, a week later, it's a little bit different and we're doing it in a new way.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of flexibility and continuing to meet all the different styles.
Like one of the things, like a little thing that we found and was, you know, as a way of finding out if anyone's been traveling, we just simplified it to, have you left the state of Pennsylvania? Because what was happening is some people were just driving to the Jersey Shore and then driving back. So we didn't say, have you been driving anywhere?
Yeah.
Right? We had, so that gets the plane, trains, automobiles. Have you left the borders of Pennsylvania? And if you have, then we have to follow the restrictions put upon us by our state. So that means you have to quarantine for 14 days right now before you can come in or go anywhere. And two, a lot of people, I think that that's been kind of neat in a weird way, is that we know these things and we can tell people who, oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Going to the Jersey Shore meant that I had a quarantine for 14 days. Well, yes, it does.
Yes.
Go home. You know, so.
Isn't it the truth? It's like finding out that streamlined language that conveys the message, but doesn't create the story that doesn't need to happen. It's more, yeah, I love that. Like working with how important it is to use the right language to communicate with clients in this very streamlined, effective manner. Let me go on to the next question. When you look to the future of massage therapy in the days when COVID is no longer a factor, what do you think the lasting impact will be on our practices?
I'm going to jump in real quick. Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, one of the things, we're going to keep our front door locked and work by appointment. Seriously, I love the safety of just having the building, like where when you're coming in, you have to call and then we'll let you in when we're ready. I mean, there's so many things that I love about what's happened as far as for our business. I think in a way it's been a more positive thing than a negative thing. I don't know how, I know some people might not see that yet, but there's just the boundaries alone, the empowerment of the conversations, all those things are things that for years, 25 years, you know, I've been like, please stop letting sick people come in. And they'll be like, will you massage my hands? I'm like, what? Where are you from? You know, so like so many of these things are like my dreams come true, streamlining with booking, like just book online, here. Okay. So here, type in and tell us what's wrong with you before you even get here. What a gift that is, because, you know, I can get my mindset ready. Okay, I'm going to have to work on upper back. What are some of my tricks? What can I, and then when they're driving to the office, you know, they're like, oh, you know, then they can relax and just think about what they're getting instead of knowing that they're going to have to give us all this information. So everything is just kind of like falling into place with everything if we choose as a group to see it that way. And our group is choosing to see it that way for the most part. I mean, don't get me wrong, we've had our days, we've had our moments, we've had, you know, our faces getting little marks on them from the mask, you know, we've had our things, but we just keep rallying and pulling together and seeing that the changes for the most part across the board are more positive than negative.
It's so true, because that is such human nature. Resist, 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 resist. No, you must change. Okay, I'll change and it will be fine. And I agree with you, like having been in practice, I'm not currently in private practice, but for all these years, and how we feel a little bit like we can't define the parameters of our session rooms. And now we can. Now we're saying, you know what, just be quiet and enjoy your massage. It's going to be awesome. And please just book online, because we can just remove all of that from this encounter. And this encounter can really, truly just be about the massage.
Yes.
Beautiful the massage is. It really lets us just focus on what is so glorious about massage and get all that other nonsense that we have to deal with away from the actual sanctity of the session itself.
Yes.
So I love that. Well, now one more person at least, like when you look to the future of massage in the days when COVID is no longer a factor, what do you think the lasting impact will be? Is there somebody else who wants to chime in on that?
I think just being empowered to slow down. None of us like the mask, but it has taught me to slow my breathing, to slow what I'm doing, you know, to be able to just kind of regulate myself a little more, walking into the room, knowing that it's just slowed down, that all the chaos behind us with COVID and oh my God, things are happening outside in the world and what's going on right now, it doesn't matter, you know, just leaving it behind because we're prepared going in, because the client knows what is coming, because we know what we're doing. You know, and just being able to slow down. And really, I love that we've had so many resources, that we've come together as a community, you know, that we can reach out to Diane, that Diane reaches out to us. We've reached out to you. We've, you know, all the people that, all the books you have probably sitting on your bookshelf from massage school. I wonder when the last time I touched those was, you know, we had time in this time to be able to say, wow, I need to spruce up on my anatomy. I need to go, you know, take Kines again somewhere. All the little things that we've forgotten or maybe have gotten a little lackadaisical on, it was a good refresher to say, hey, you know, we gotta be on point. And if not, crazy things can happen and we need to be prepared. If I don't have brains on top, I have brains on tap. I know somebody who knows the answer to this question, right? So if I'm confused as to what protocol I should be doing, someone else around me knows. And if they don't, we can find out. You know, there's always something to look forward to coming to work. There's always something new, and just taking from this, you know, just being positive. Just, we could have sat around and just been like, you know, this is terrible and I hate this. And, you know, and I did for some of that. I did. I had my moments, but we're back and we're stronger than ever. We're more on point than ever. You know, we're cleaner than ever. Anyone who is standing around for even a second has a cleaning tool in their hand. We're just, it's better. It is better.
Wow, that's awesome. I think that is a perfect sort of segue to the close. And I think you kind of all have covered my last question, which is, what is the bright spot? And what I'm hearing from all of you is that you just said, whatever it takes, you jumped in, you learned what you had to learn, you practiced what you needed to practice, you figured it out as a team, and you said, yes, we can, and yes, we will, and here we go. So I want to commend you. It's very inspiring to talk to all of you. Thank you again for being with me. This has been super fun, and for hosting this Freedom Massage, just a chance to really talk with therapists who are living the dream as it is. And it's been very inspiring to meet all of you and to get to hear from you today.
And again, like I said, I can't even tell you, we are so, so thankful. We've taken everything you've said to heart, and it was great. And we're so honored to be a part of this talk.